Big-time title fight coming up this weekend in the co-main event of UFC 281. We have the strawweight title up for grabs. It was from 2014 to 2022. That's what it was. Wow. For Carla Esparza to win the belt, lose the belt, and then win that belt back again. She gets that win over Rose Namajunas. Are they making documentaries about Carla Esparza? No, they're not. But of her opponent that she beat, yes, they are. She's going to be taking on Magnum Zhang Weili. And listen, for Zhang Weili, I mean, former UFC champion, the run was fun. The losses of late weren't all that great, but she picked up a giant winner last time out, and she put a stamp on the second fight against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Pretty well, I mean, retired her, gets a win by finish. The losses before that, Rose Namajunas, the second one, wasn't a mistake. It was a close fight, with Namajunas getting the win by split decision. But coming into this fight, I think a big overarching conversation will be around the odds for this one. Zhang Weili open to minus 150, minus 366. Esparza open plus 130, plus 280 at this point. We've had two champions come in this year looking to defend and coming in as big underdogs. I mean, you look at it, Glover Teixeira against Yuri Prochazka, Charles Oliveira against Islam Makhachev, and both times the challenger was able to get the win in the matchup. For Carla Esparza, we know how good her wrestling is. For Zhang Weili, I think a big portion of the conversation should be around the camp changes. I mean, training at one point, Fight Ready MMA. For this one, getting ready at Bangtown Muay Thai. Brad Riddell also getting ready there. The Hickman brothers doing great work. Loma Lookmanme, look at that. The prodigy out of that gym. She's looked amazing since she's gone there. But Bang Tao and the Hickman brothers really making a name for themselves. And obviously a great catch with Zhang Weili turning that camp into her home. You look at the matchup here, Matt, though. And obviously we see the posts on Reddit, on Twitter. Zhang Weili's picking up Francis Ngannou with the PI.
I couldn't do that.
That's kind of impressive. Now, a static lift like that's a little bit different than a 25-minute MMA fight against Carla Esparza. But Matt, when we focus in on this matchup, this is going to sound silly, but Zhang Weili justified where the odds have ballooned from minus 150 to minus 366?
100%. I think so, honestly, because here's the thing with Zhang Weili. She's kind of the midway point between a fighter like Joanna and a fighter like Jessica Andrade. Now, I would say she's closer to Joanna, but hear me out. She has the power in her shots, but she's also an extremely technical fighter. Who gives her trouble? Well, people who are also very technical fighters, because they can match her with a lot of what they do on the feet, and if they're elusive enough, they can avoid some of her bigger power shots and at least get their volume numbers high enough to really match her. I know Rose was able to knock her out with a head kick, but still, a lot of that was the technique behind it and less just the pure power. It was, hey, she was able to outthink Weili, if anything, and then land that head kick. So, but my big point is, Weili really struggles with technique more than just physical strength. Look at the fight she had against Jessica Andrade, one of the strongest pound-for-pound fighters I think we've ever seen in the UFC. Jessica went across the cage, tried to bully her, tried to get really rough with her, get her in that clinch, pick her up, and do what she always does. Slam chicks on their head, knock them out, or choke them unconscious. Weili got her in the clinch, was really technical, and was kind of able to play the matador to Jessica Andrade's bull. So now we look at Carla Esparza. Is she a technical striker on the feet?
She's efficient.
Exactly. To her credit, she has grown in her striking repertoire throughout her UFC tenure, but it's not like she's throwing 720 spin kicks like Yair Rodriguez. It is a lot of basic boxing combinations. Now, to her credit, it is weird. Sometimes they can work out. If she is throwing a lot of punches, her opponents do have to respect the shots coming back their way, so it doesn't really allow them to just tee off with their own, and it really makes them be concerned about the takedown attempt too. And I think that's one area that Carla can have success. Just threatening with the takedown, really making Weili worried about that part of her game. But what I worry about is when Carla wasn't having success with her wrestling against Joanna in the first fight, she just spammed takedown attempts from across the cage. It was really defensive with them, almost like trying to hide her head with some of the takedown attempts. I think Weili is a very high-level striker and a technical enough striker to damage Carla if she does go into some of those desperation takedown attempts. And I think those are just going to make Weili's job that much easier. And you hate to say this when there's a sitting champion fighting a challenger, because, hey, you're the UFC champion for a reason. You went through a lot to get there. I just don't know what Carla's one path is going to be to get a win. Yes, her wrestling is very good, but it's not like she's the best wrestler we've ever seen in the division. Like, I've seen Carla struggle with her grappling in some cases, so I just don't know what Carla's going to be able to do for 16 minutes of this fight, I guess, just to be able to win a judge's decision.
26 or whatever your analogy is. I mean, just for this to be a 5-round fight, you look at it for Esparza, and her last time out against Rose Namajunas, it was We're incredibly tentative on the feet, the two of us. Esparza gets some takedowns and some control time. She's able to get the win. Now, Esparza, traditionally, you look at it, the takedown accuracy, 35%. Zhang Weili, 60% takedown defense. And that could be cause for concern. The striking numbers, Zhang Weili, and this is because of the fights with Yanni and Jacek, but 5.78 strikes landed per minute to Carla Esparza's 2.2 strikes landed per minute. Esparza has gotten better with her striking as her UFC tenure's gone on. She's aligned herself with Team Oyama and stuck with it, and you've really seen a great bond between the coach and the athlete. And for Zhang Weili, mixing things up, cross-training, champ camp with Davison Figueiredo and Cejudo for a while, and she did look really good in the second fight against Yanni and Jacek in retiring her. But again, the strength advantage, the striking, a glaring striking advantage. It really is a tough fight to give you a non-biased prediction.
I think Weili could take down Carla, honestly.
In this one. So you look at the odds, they are what they are. We have a look at the fan vote over on Topology. Surprise to us, they are to you. I'm going to say over under 85% Zhang Weili.
I think they're going to be over.
Oh my lord. 1,123 total votes, 93% Zhang Weili, 80% by knockout. For the 7% that have Esparza, 73% by decision. If Carla Esparza wins this fight, as the champion, it would almost be more surprising than when Juliana Pena beat Amanda Nunes the first time.
I wouldn't say
that. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but again, a champion as this big of an underdog, and 93% of the fans have the challenger to win, that doesn't happen every day.
And the majority of the time, even when you do have a champion who's an underdog, it's because there's a challenger who is so hyped up. They're like an undefeated prospect like we've never seen before. Remember when Francis was the favorite when he fought Stipe the first time? I know it didn't work out for him that time around, but still, you have these really uber prospects. We know about Weili. It's not like she's just burst onto the scene. Like, she's been around for a while now. I just think her skill set and what she's been able to show in the cage is much more well-rounded than Carla. Now, again, Carla does have that one area of her game that has been quite dominant up until this point. She is on a big win streak. She is the champ for a reason. I just think stylistically, this is as difficult of a matchup as anybody in the top 15 for Carla.
Both of us going with Bang Tao Muay Thai to kick off a big-time opportunity because they're going to get their first champion, so we assume, in Zhang Weili to get the win coming up this weekend. Matt, we have Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira, the trilogy fight. We're going to be talking about it live on the channel during the Sidekick, so hang out with us throughout the week. It's a great week to be an MMA fan. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say. Let's get into it.